let's see how we can use Microsoft Graph APIs to resize an image in SharePoint. So I have one image here, and that's a SharePoint site, and that image is hosted in the site assets library. This is how it looks on the right, just flowers. And then we have APIs available that we can use and just resize it. We might want to do that for different custom applications, for example. Now, I already did that here. I'll just refresh it for you to see that it's working, and I'll have a look at the URL, the call I've made in the browser. So if we go here, we'll see that I am still in my SharePoint site, but I'm calling the Graph APIs from here. The way to do that is API v2, and on v2 there are all the new APIs that are also available in Microsoft Graph, but just the SharePoint related one. After that we have SharePoint, and here we have the server relative URL to our image. As we can see, we have the CEO, which is the top site, and then we have the site assets library. Underneath we have a subfolder that's called site pages, and another subfolder that's called about us, and finally there is the image here. Now, after that, once we get the image, we have to call the Microsoft Graph Thumbnails API here. And the Thumbnails API will expect 0 as the first thumbnail of the image that we already have. And then there is the large, so we can control the size from here. They're predefined sizes that we can use by using a specific keywords like large, small, or medium. Like if I type small and I execute that request, you'll see that the image is being resized again to 400 by something. If I type large or medium, obviously I'll get a different size, but then I can control it in a different way. I can remove the preferred null redirect and be a little bit more precise on what I want. Like if I have prefer redirect here, it will always give me one of the fixed sizes. Let me just show you how it works. I can type C 700 by 99999. What that will do is the C stands for the width and the X stands for the height. But even I select that specific size because I have prefer no redirect true, that will give me one of the available sizes. It will increase the image, but it is still one of the fixed sizes there, which is pretty big resolution for me at the moment, and I don't want to use that. But as you can see, it's possible to grab even a very big image here. Now, if I want to be specific and to be at 1700, we can remove the no redirect true. That will execute the request. It will redirect us to another URL, but it will give us the precise size that we specified there. Let me see how this works. I'll enter here, and that should reload. And as you can see, the size is exactly what I wanted, 1700 by something. And we were redirected to a server somewhere, maybe in Azure, but with that way we can control in a precise way the exact size that we want to be displayed there. Now we can do the same query, or call the very same API for Microsoft Graph, but your request will look a little bit different. So as you can see, I have the Graph Explorer here. I'm logged in, so I have access to the very same tenant. And when we run that query, we'll get a response, and in that response, we will receive the very same URL that we've been redirected to previously. And if I paste that here, we'll get the same image. Now, that call is a little bit different, and I already pasted it here. So let's see how it looks. We're calling the Microsoft Graph v1. Then we're using the Sites API, and this is our domain, SharePoint domain. Then we're trying to find our website at site CFO, and we're trying to find the site assets library. And it's tricky because we need to specify the ID. I don't think there are other options here, so you need to know your site assets library ID here. Then from the items into that library, we have to find our specific image. For that, we need to know the ID. Unfortunately, a bit tricky again to get that ID. And then the rest is the same as what I've showed you in the on the SharePoint side. So we can use specific keywords here, or we can use a more precise size by specifying width and height. But at the end, that will give us a URL in the promise if we would be using JavaScript, and we can load the image from that URL.